So in general, is Sevilla a year-round destination, or are there any specific kind of times of the year that, whether it's related to crowds, holidays, weather, are there any times of year that you would tell someone like, now might not be the best time versus like a really great time to visit is fill in the blank?
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, as you say, I mean, Spain, it's a super diverse country, right? So if you compare Catalonia, northeast with the Basque country, with central Madrid, with Seville in the south, they're almost their own country within a country,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And Sevilla, and particularly sort of Andalusia and Seville, I would almost sum up by saying they are kind of the most Spanish of all the destinations you're going to visit. And when I say they're the most Spanish of how people imagine Spain to be. So if you take all of those, let's say, stereotypes that we all think about, flamenco, tapas, bullfighting, siestas, Seville really does sort of personify a lot of that. I think one good way of mentioning it to, let's say, a first-time traveler to Spain is of saying you guys really want to see all these things that you've dreamt about. Seville's a wonderful destination for that. In terms of when to go and when not to go, I would say the biggest thing to point out is the heat. So it's a strong point and a weakness as well. I mean, Seville in midsummer, you could be hitting 42, 44, 45 degrees. So you're sort of touching 110 degrees Fahrenheit when you have a heat wave. So it can be
It's
really,
intense.
really hot.
Yeah.
And we'd literally be talking
Hmm.
all of June, July, and August, and even part of September. So today, we're in the high 30s. So, just over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
really important to point out that people are very aware of the heat. But at the same time, when talking with the client, you can also explain that in Spain, the heat of the day does not hit at midday. So the real hot part of summer's day in Seville is sort of from 3 o'clock through until about 7 o'clock. Hence why we all sleep our beloved siesta.
Siesta. Yeah. And then dinner at 10 p.m. That is
Exactly.
that is I am very much like do as the locals do, but that is the one part of Spain that I'm just like, I cannot. I'm
It is
sleeping by
difficult.
10, Sam. I don't think I would survive.
It is tricky because we get a lot of people, when they sort of, hey, we'd love some dinner reservations and we'd like to book it around 6 p.m. And you're sort of thinking that's actually closer to when people are finishing lunch than starting dinner.
No, I think it is helpful to understand that part because I have cautioned many travelers who are kind of those summertime families who always want to travel in the summer. I have cautioned, like, listen, like, Sevilla's really, I always think of it as a year round destination because in those winter months where it's cold for us, it is still very like lovely in southern Spain. But a lot of people are just really looking to travel in summer. But I think the way you've presented it is like if we structure the day like the locals and kind of make sure you start early, like no 10 a.m. starts here, like get up early, start, but then plan that you're going to come back.
That timetable as well. So if you were to try and go shopping at 4 p.m., you're kind of going against the current as well because a lot of the shops will be closed. They close at 2 o'clock, they'll go back, they'll have lunch, they'll have a sleep, and they might not open again until 6 p.m. So it's something that you eventually sort of fall into almost, you're almost obliged to sort of fall into line with it.
So tell me about how long travelers generally stay in Sevilla. And I want like the average answer, and then I want your wish list because I know that what I hear most commonly and what I experience most commonly is that clients are trying to move on to the next thing too quickly, where it's like, this is actually a city that you could stay longer than you might stay at other destinations because there is so much to see and do and experience. So, from your DMC perspective, what's the average length of stay? And then, as your local perspective, what do you think? What would you actually recommend if you had?
I'd
Mm-hmm.
say almost exactly it would be 3 nights would be the average. Exactly as you've said, there are a lot of travelers who try and do too much. They'll try and do the whole of Spain in 10 days or Spain and Portugal in 12 days. And, we're
Yep.
strong believers in the less is more kind
It's
of
cute.
idea.